stop running and you want to go home to your hotel, tell us. Please tell us. You talk to our staff on the checkpoint.
A very good early morning here from Moc Chau in Vietnam for the Vietnam Trail Marathon, our first points race event of season 10 in the Asia Trail Master Series. We are about 10 minutes away from the start. In other words, it's almost 5 a.m. here. It's still dark. Sunrise here is about 20 minutes past 6, so the runners will be doing the first section still in the dark. And runners, we have a lot of them. For the 70k race here today, we have about more than 300 participants. So that's an excellent number for the Vietnam Trail Marathon, which on the whole actually has more than 2,000 runners signed up for the event, which also of course includes several short distance races. But for us it's the 70 kilometer that counts. Only one points race. That means all these so-called elite runners are all in the same race, and that's of course what we like and we hope to see much more of also in this new year 2025. For those who celebrated on the 1st of January, a happy new year and may the trails be with you. And this is actually a very fitting image here before the start. We have a bonfire where runners are trying to warm themselves up before the start, because it is indeed very cold. Very cold for Southeast Asian, very cold for Vietnamese standards. It's not even 10 degrees. The temperature at the moment is a mere 8 degrees here in Moc Chau. It's a bit of a cold spell. It's winter, of course, in the north of Vietnam as well. As we are going to try and move up to the front of the start. I'll try to see if we can catch any runners in the meantime. But it's dark, so also for me it's kind of hard to see them. So yeah, the cold will be a potential factor. There's always runners who do very well in these kind of temperature conditions, but there's also runners who have difficulty with them.
Thank you to all of you, from all of us at Topaz. Thank you for joining our race. We wish
this event, of course, organized by Topaz, the organizers of VMM and VJM, which have been part of the Asia Trail Master Series before. This year it's VTM, just like last year. This event was also part of the event last year. There we have Masafumi Yamamoto, our 4-star Grandmaster. We also see Lee Chin Chin from Singapore. She is also a Grandmaster, second 2-star Grandmaster even, I believe. I might be mistaken about that. There are so many Grandmasters now, more than 100. The full list of Grandmasters, by the way, is updated and is on the website of Asia Trail Master if you want to check. We are now at the front of the start, and there we can also see Gaetan Morizur, one of the favorites in the men's race. He's on the second row with the long sleeve light blue top. Gaetan Morizur making a bit of a comeback after taking a year off paternal leave, we can say. What else do we have here then on the favorites? We have Tien Vo from Vietnam, we have Tu Do from Vietnam, we have Siu is on the start list, and also Nguyen Trong is on the start list. So some of the best Vietnamese runners are here. It's going to be already quite exciting in itself. But we also have Gaetan, and we have from the Philippines, we have Godwin Mirar. Godwin Mirar is the up-and-coming talent from Bukit Non in Mindanao, who has scored 2 podium finishes before in Asia Trail Master events. It was in the Punisher he was third, and he was also third right here in Vietnam in the Vietnam Mountain Marathon, 50 kilometers in 2023, when he finished not far behind John Ray Onifa and Christian Jurgensen. Godwin Mirar will be interesting to follow. Yeah, sorry for the little cough. I do have a bit of a cold this morning, so please bear with me. Godwin Mirar has made the Asia Trail Master Championship a little bit of a goal this year. So it's the first year he is going to do longer distances, let's say medium distances in his case, 50 kilometers and so on, and this of course 70 for the first time, because he's 24. He's been focusing on the very short distances for a long time, but now he feels ready to do a bit more longer distance as well. Maybe you can spot some of the runners too. Still trying to see if, for example, Siu is there, the number 6 of the Asia Trail Master Championship Season 9. Some more familiar faces. Always a great mood here also in Moc Chau. 7 minutes to go to the race start, as announced by the speaker. In the women's race, there is no Ha, let that be clear. Ha, the superstar of Vietnam, superstar of Asia actually. I would say the most competitive trail runner in Asia for sure. Together with some of the Chinese, of course, like Xiang Fujiao, who we had the pleasure of seeing in Izu Trail Journey last month, December. Xiang Fujiao is the only runner who actually managed to outperform Ha in a race so far. There were mitigation factors for Ha though. I found out yesterday, incidentally. But nevertheless, a race is a race, and the results stand. So who are the favorites for the women's race? Mostly Vietnamese runners like Giang Linh. We have Nguyen Nguyet, and we also have Tran. And Ville Phong, one of the most experienced trail runners. These are named as the 4 most likely podium contenders in the women's race. And as also usual in Vietnam, the decibels are very, very high. I'm using my microphone. I hope you can all hear me loud and clear. But I can hardly hear myself sometimes. So what do we have? We have 70 kilometers. We have a course that can be a little bit divided into 2 parts. We have a up and down hilly part, first part, which is followed by an easier and more flattish second half. Total elevation gain is estimated at about 3,000 altitude gain. So it is certainly not flat, but definitely also not the toughest course in our series. Here we can also see David Lloyd, the long-time race director, event director of Topaz Travel, and the events that they have. As I mentioned earlier, so this year it's VTM, Vietnam Trail Marathon, this one, and in March we have their latest event, it's VUM. While I see Godwin Mira now going to the start, let me zoom in on him a little bit for our Filipino fans. Yeah. Here we also have Tudo, I believe, and here's Tien Vo. So we have some of the protagonists here, right here. And we have Godwin Mira. As usual, still a bit shy. Let's see what Godwin can do today. I think he's definitely capable of winning this if he has a good day. But he needs to keep his head cool as well, because that has been a little bit of his downside so far. He's still very young, of course, inexperienced, especially inexperienced racing abroad. For example, 2 months ago, Godwin was in Vietnam as well for the Lam Dung Trail in Dalat. But DNF there together with Christian Jurgensen. They were pointed in the wrong direction by a marshal, which was of course very unfortunate. At the same time, as everybody knows, even elite runners also need to study the track, perhaps even more than the average runner. And marshals pointing runners in the wrong direction is something that happens, I wouldn't say often, but at least it happens every season at least once. It's not something new. I see here that the timing mat is a little bit short for the starting arch. Hope that does not pose any problems later on. Well, at least we have video record here. Also on the start list, and I see him there now as well, on the edge is Trung Nguyen, still officially Singaporean. I do believe it's him though. It's not him, sorry. For us all, but anyway, Trung Nguyen is on the start list. Also a finalist before. He's had some great results here, also in Vietnam, Trung Nguyen. It's one of those runners that when he's focused on a result, he can actually get very far. But he's also not always going for it, so it depends what his season objectives are, which also makes sense. Gaetan Morizou here, as I mentioned before, with the long sleeves, blue top. Winner in Dalat a couple of years ago. Based in Ho Chi Minh City. And we must be only a few minutes away from the start. After the start, we will be moving to checkpoint 1, which is 12 kilometers into the race. What a noise here. 1 more minute before the start. Okay, that's the purpose of this motorcycle, to make everybody aware that the start is in 1 minute and we should clear the area. And so we will be moving to checkpoint 1. That's 12 kilometers into the race. Estimate for the first runners will be slightly over an hour. It will be about sunrise time. So we will be back live, depending on the connectivity, obviously. In about 1 hour's time, around 6 o'clock, 6:15, thereabouts, for our live stream of checkpoint 1, when we also expect most runners to still be, elite runners I mean, to be still quite together, so we can hopefully catch a lot of runners there. It should also be possible for us to go to many more checkpoints today, so we will have a lot of video updates in any case. And then the finish at the tea plantation, a very scenic finish, which should be in the early afternoon. And here we go with the start of the Vietnam Trail Marathon. As I mentioned, well over 300 runners here for the 70 kilometers. The shorter distances, they start a bit later. And here they go. Also on the start list, by the way, is Tomohiro Mitsukoshi, but I haven't seen him, so I'm not 100% whether he is here. And that also counts for CU and for Nyon Trong. But I'm sure that if they are here, and we might have missed them, of course, in this pack of over 300 runners, then we will see them at the first checkpoint for sure. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this live stream of the start